Wow, okay, so I was not expecting the month of April to be filled with some really good content. We are coming off of a really decent month in March, but it looks like with April, we're going to be getting a lot of stuff that is going to be brand new to Pokemon Go, and you will not want to miss out on any of it. So for this video, I'm going to be going over all of the content that is coming in the month of April, and which things you need to pay attention to. Alright, what's happening everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's jump right into it. So let's talk about the month of April in Pokemon Go. This is going to be a pretty decent month because on top of getting ourselves some really good in-game events, there's going to be some insanely good rating content. Some Pokemon are going to be seeing their shiny debuts, and I do think that for what it's worth, this is going to be a really solid month. But first, let's go over all the content that's going to be happening, and then afterwards, I'm going to share some of my thoughts. During the month of April, we're going to have the following Pokemon as the featured Pokemon. They include Kubfu, Dynamax Entei, and Dynamax Passimian. But I would make the argument that it's not actually these three Pokemon that are going to make the biggest splash. It's going to be a few raid bosses that we're going to be getting during this month. We'll get more into that later. Now, let's start off by talking about the Dynamax content for the month of April. Between March 31st and April 7th, we're going to see the following Pokemon in Dynamax battles. They include Squirtle, Krabby, Chansey, Scorbunny, and Squirtle. And then from April 7th until April 14th, we're going to see Caterpie, Machop, Drillbur, Wooloo, and Phalanx. And then from April 14th until the 21st, we're going to see Machop, Passimian, as well as Phalanx. And then from April 21st to the 28th, we're going to have Squirtle, Krabby, Chansey, and Sobble. And then finally, at the end of the month, from April 28th until May 5th, we're going to have Charmander, Pidove, Cryogonal, Wooloo, and Phalanx. Now, in terms of the Max Mondays, these are the Pokemon that we're set to have. On March 31st, we're going to have Scorbunny. On April 7th, we're going to have Passimian, and then on April 14th, we're going to have Wooloo, and then April 21st, we're going to have Sobble, and then on April 28th, we're going to have Phalanx. And then let's talk about 5-star raids, because this is where I think a lot of people are going to be interested with this month's content. So, between March 31st until April 9th, we're going to have Tapu Lele in raids, and any Tapu Lele that you catch during this month is going to know the move Nature's Madness. And then, from April 9th until April 21st, so for 2 weeks out of this month, we're going to have Blacephalon spawning in 5-star raids in the Western Hemisphere, and then Stakataka is going to be in 5-star raids in the Eastern Hemisphere. And something you need to keep in mind is that both of these Pokemon are going to see their shiny debuts during this month. That is absolutely insane, and I do think it's going to be tied to some sort of in-game event. But regardless, I'm super excited about this because both of these Pokemon have some really cool and unique shiny forms that you will want to get. And then finally, rounding out the end of the month when it comes to 5-star raids, we're going to have Cresselia between April 21st until May 1st. Next up, let's talk about the Mega Raids during this month. So, from March 31st until April 9th, we're going to have Mega Blaziken in Mega Evolution raids, and then from April 9th until the 21st, we're going to have Mega Sceptile, and then from the 21st until May 1st, we're going to have Mega Mawile. And then on the weekends during this month, in 5-star Shadow Legendary Raids, we're going to have none other than Shadow Registeel. And out of the 3 Regis, this is definitely the one that a lot of players want to get. So this is going to be a great opportunity for you to pick up Shadow Shiny Registeel from raids. Do not miss out on that opportunity. It's definitely going to be a really good time. Alright, next let's talk about all of the events that are going to be happening in the month of April, starting with the Stunning Styles event, which is going to be from April 3rd until April 7th. I've already made a video talking about the details for this event, and to be honest with you, I'm really excited about it. And then on April 5th, we're going to have Mega Audino Raid Day, and then on April 6th, we're going to have a Hatch Day featuring the Pokemon Tyrogue. And then from April 9th until April 14th, we're going to have the Spring into Spring event. And then on April 13th, we're going to have yet another raid day, and it's going to be the Sparring Partners raid day, which is likely to feature 2 different Pokemon. And then from April 16th until the 22nd, there's going to be a mystery event, which they did not reveal yet. I'm really curious to see what this event is going to be and why there is so much mystery around it. But during this event, we're going to have a Gigantamax Snorlax Max Battle Day on April 19th, and then from April 24th until the 29th, we're going to have the Sweet Discoveries event, and then from the 26th until the 27th, we're going to have a Dynamax Entei Max Battle Weekend, and then finally on April 27th, we're going to have our April Community Day, featuring a Pokemon which they did not yet announce. Now, finally, let's talk about the raid hours along with the spotlight hours during this month. On April 2nd, we're going to have a Tapu Lele raid hour, and then on April 9th and April 16th, we're going to have a Blacephalon and Stakataka raid hour, depending on what hemisphere you're in. And then on April 23rd and April 30th, we're going to have raid hours featuring the Pokemon Cresselia. And then, when it comes to the spotlight hours, these are the Pokemon we're going to get. On April 8th, we're going to have a Metatide Spotlight Hour with a 2x Transfer Candy bonus. And then on April 15th, we're going to have Fomantis with a 2x Evolution Experience bonus. And then on April 22nd, this is actually pretty insane, we're going to have a Spotlight Hour featuring Morlul, which gives you bonus Stardust per catch. And there's also going to be a double catch Stardust bonus. And then finally, on April 29th, we're going to have a Spotlight Hour featuring the Pokemon Abra, which is actually pretty hilarious because it has such a high flea rate, and it's going to have a 2x catch experience bonus. So yeah, pretty solid if you ask me when it comes to content. On top of us getting the debut of both Stakataka as well as Blacephalon shiny forms, we're also going to be seeing the return of Cresselia, which I think a lot of players have been wanting because of PvP. And I am really excited about this. I think it's all going to be really good. And then on top of that, we got a couple of events that I'm really curious about. For example, the Sparring Partners Raid Day. I really do not know what that's going to entail, but I do think it's going to be some sort of dueling Pokemon, and yeah, I think it could be really good. And that is already on top of us having Audino Raid Day, or specifically Mega Audino Raid Day. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really good month, and it's specifically all around raiding content, which I think is also a little bit unfortunate in that a lot of the best stuff from this month involves premium content, but if you have a whole bunch of raid passes, this could be a good month for you to spend them, because on top of us getting some new shinies, we're also going to be having a plethora of different raid days, which I think is going to be really good. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see once the details come out for some of these events, and hopefully they're all going to be really good. We'll just have to wait and see. But in any case, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts regarding everything that I talked about down below. Is there anything in particular in the month of April that you are looking forward to, or do you feel like this month is a bit overrated and I'm kind of exaggerating how good it actually is? If you feel that way, definitely share your thoughts in the comments down below, and let's have a great discussion. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And also don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And real quick, let me give a shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, the absolute best way you can do that is going to be by joining my Patreon. If you decide to become a paid Patreon member, I'm going to add you to my Pokemon GO friends list. So that means for stuff like remote raids and the friendship system, opening and sending gifts. If you want to play Pokemon GO with me, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, you're always welcome to do so by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula. I'm on the platforms that you see on the bottom of your screen. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow. And yeah, with that said, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, and love yourself today, and I'll catch you all later.